Highlight on unemployment Friday, a historic number, -7, -9 was expected. It not only missed to the upside, it missed to the positive plus 2.5 million. In all my years, I knew that these numbers are just all extraordinarily high or low, and they were extraordinarily low and beaten down because of an unprecedented reason why the economy implodes. But now you're going to see, and this might be the first day of it, these numbers recover that are outrageous. And in 25 years in this business, this has always been the busiest or biggest number of the month, always still is. And the miss of almost 10 million net of expecting like -8 and getting almost a positive 2.5, you are in for the first time through this whole pandemic in optimistic territory. Do I think we rally another 1,000 points in the Dow? I certainly won't be surprised today because it's got that pivotal sense to it, meaning you've had all the pessimism with a lockdown. You've had all the worry with outbreaks in the states that are opening and reopening. You've had all now the protesting and then the rioting and then the looting that has probably apexed on Sunday, Monday, seem to be getting better as we go through this week. We've talked all week about underlying strength where you think the market was going to be down, should be down, should be down. They're not worried about it. They're not worried about it. Now we see one of the reasons why. But there hasn't just been a blow off top where you buy into the rumor of maybe the inside intel knew it was going to be a really strong number and then sell off. No, they extended it. We're still 70 S&P points higher than we were at 7:30 Central when this number was released. Now I'm just giving kind of an editorial instead of drawing on the screen, but you could get pullbacks, and the best one we got generally comes from a parabolic jump like this, where you just a blow off capitulated, shake out the shorts, and then you get this steep kind of retracement. Now, this is steep enough, and what I want to leave guys with is not something we talked about as we moved through today, other than the highlight today was keeping the room on the long side, keeping them very cautious if they were going to fight this thing, because it had that historic type of rally because of a historic type of miss. I can't say enough that when you get a miss like this, that's one thing. But when you get it in this moment of the world and the country desperate for something optimistic, and then they get it, and it's something you could build on, because you get people to scratch their head and say, wait a second, if Georgia and Texas and Florida could reopen 6-8 weeks ago and really haven't had a huge outbreak, if you can get anecdotal stuff like in Missouri, when you had that big party, nothing's come of that, and that's been a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. If you had that, also that hair salon that had 2 COVID hairstylists that exposed 140 people, and you haven't heard anything from that. You had these riots and looting happen, which is awful, but it distracted people from being fearful psychologically of virus, wall-to-wall coverage in everything they read and seen. And it almost created like stress from that to stress from this. If that's over, no stress at all, right? Stress to zero. And it does a whole lot in optimism for people in states that now will have the opportunity to put all kinds of pressure on states that have been slower to reopen, whether it's New York, New Jersey, Illinois, California. Now it's like, wait a second. That's great. Protesters were able to protest and there's no outbreak. And they could continue to protest, and that's great. And if you remove the looting and the rioting, and all of a sudden, why can't we reopen? Why can't hair salons in Illinois reopen and restaurants reopen? And why do we have to wait for 2 more phases, 3 more months, 2 more weeks, 1 more day? That's all pivotal. And that's this number combined with protests created that. And I want people to watch this video and mark this day, because I do think it has a chance to be the beginning of the beginning. The beginning of the beginning. Now, going back to this chart really quick, this 2 things with this pullback. It's steep, meaning it comes off faster, and it had a capitulation blow off top. Does that mean we retrace half the move of the entire day? No. It does mean that it's going to be harder to shoot right back through this high that's around 32.10. It means it's going to have to reorganize and get shorts all excited to get them stuck to re-rally. So generally what you see is a little bit of a failure to run back up at first, sideways to lower chart, and then they'll make a real attempt to go back up. And if the power could be re-implemented, meaning you can get more shorts thinking that it's all over and we're going to go down and they're stuck, and you get the real buyers to come in like they have been mostly all week, you can have a plus 2,000 Dow day. Always keep an eye on your transitions. All week, we talked about, if you looked at the videos on the channel all week, we talked about transitional moments after transitional moments. So important to read the real time. Have a safe weekend. Have a good weekend. And we'll see everybody.